Hello, hello.
Hello.
So many of you guys out there in cosplay already. I love it.
I love it.
So, Natalie and Megan, thank you for joining us here at AnimeCon UK. How are you enjoying it here at the moment?
It's great.
It's been really good.
Yeah. You've been here longer than me. So.
I got in Tuesday, and I put together a very whirlwind tour of London for myself. So, I may have broken my leg a little bit, but it's fine. It's good. We did a lot of walking.
A lot of walking, a lot of tubes. That will do it to you for sure.
I lived in a city with a lot of public transit, so my brain still goes, oh, that's not that hard. How hard could it be? And then my watch is like 20,000 steps. Are you okay? Are you well?
Yeah, it's bad when your watch is going, are you okay, hon? You know.
Yeah. Hey, your heart rate's a little elevated because this hill just doesn't quit. Are you good?
So we've got a lot of potential voice actors out in the audience. Where did it start for you both? Where did that light bulb moment come?
Well, I was in college. I was getting my degree in teaching. So I taught choir for 3 years. But while I was in college, I met someone who was also had voice acting at the time, because the studio is where I grew up essentially, and so I never realized that. And I don't know, it was so cool because I grew up watching anime, and I loved anime, and I loved it. It was so fun, and so this person, we got to talking, and eventually they were like, let me introduce you to some people. And so eventually I was really lucky, and I got to do an open audition, which was more so just to see your skill level. And then they started sending me auditions for real things and other stuff, and I started booking, and snowball effect, and now I'm here. It's been 11 years. It's been a very long but very fast time. And then I quit teaching, clearly. I'm not teaching anymore. But yeah.
Squeeze that in anyway?
No. But that's how I got started.
Yeah, my background was, I was really interested in being a musician. I had studied piano for about 10 years, and I played cello, and was really interested in teaching as well. And then in high school, I started developing a pain condition, which I found out later was fibromyalgia. And as a result, made it really hard for me to keep up with music, because it really hurt to play an instrument for very long with the amount of joint muscle pain I was dealing with. So I was like, oh shoot, I gotta figure out what to do with my life, because this was the whole plan. And I went to school. My dad is a software engineer, and I hated math for the longest time, but he was kind of like, hey, if you get a technician's degree, which is a 2-year program in the States, he's like, you don't have to know, you didn't need to do math, but not nearly as much math, and also a lot of the jobs let you listen to whatever you want. And I was really determined to get a book that let me listen to audiobooks all of the live long day, because I grew up listening to audiobooks. I love audio drama too, which you guys are much more ahead of the curve than us dumb Americans, but I grew up on the BBC Lord of the Rings. I really loved that. I found Cabin Pressure eventually, and Brian Jake's Redwall series too. Just loved that. And so I just wanted to listen to audiobooks, and in the process I was like, okay, well, I can get a technician's license, but I still want to do something creative. So I was like, well, maybe I could write music instead of playing music. And I was looking on the internet, on YouTube. It was really starting to become a thing around 2009 when I got started. And I noticed that there was some independent animations where they're like, hey, we need music composers, but also we need voice actors. And at the time I went, I've got a microphone built into my laptop. How hard could this voice acting thing be? And for me, it was always, I thought it would just be a fun little hobby thing to do, but I started that way, and I thought it was so much fun that I kept Googling and looking for more opportunities, and I found some websites. There's one that's still around today. There's a Discord server. There's a website called the Voice Acting Club. So that's where I got started, and I kept finding more projects to audition for, and then slowly it started to turn into things that paid me. And then some of them were like video games, and I was like, oh, this is fun, I love this. And then I slowly started getting recommended for bigger projects, and then started getting recommended for anime. At the time, you had to actually fly out to wherever the studio was, and I was like, hey, I'll do that to be in an anime, sure, why not? And then I slowly built enough work and reputation that I figured, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet and move to Dallas, Texas, which seemed like an easier move than like doing the whole Hollywood, LA situation. And I did that, and then just kept snowballing, and that was eventually I was able to book Spy Family.
Just keep booking jobs and booking jobs from that work ethic, I guess. Which is great. So, congratulations on being like part of a worldwide smash with Spy X Family.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Did you have any idea when you were given the project and you had a look and you were like, oh, did you know what this was going to be? Did you like, no, this is going to be a smash, this is going to resonate with the audience? I mean, just everybody's out there, they're dressed like you, they're across the way, it's huge.
You know, it was one of those things where they definitely were anticipating it to be big. I mean, when we auditioned and we got the parts, the producers like called us, which doesn't happen. Normally you audition for something and then they go, hey, we need you to come in and record for like 6 hours, you know, can you fit that in this week? And we go, oh, cool, I guess I booked a good part or something. But they actually called us and said, hey, you're not going anywhere, right? Like you're not, and of course me, I was going on vacation to Disney World, but it worked out. I said, well, yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere. Why? And they said, oh, well, you got the part. And I was like, oh, awesome. So it was very strange, first of all, for that. But then they were really anticipating it to be big, but you never really know until something comes out just how big of an impact it's going to make. So while there was a lot of, I guess, prep work, especially with us and like telling us like, hey, we're gonna go to Anime Expo in LA and we're gonna be doing a Spy Family premiere panel and this and that. We're like, okay, well this is cool. This is not normal. And then once it finally came out, I think then it was like, oh wow, yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, it's very good. It's not like your typical experience, I guess, with most shows, and so it has been wonderful and surreal, and we've we've been here twice. I mean the country, not like the city, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just been crazy in a good way. Yeah.
How's your experience been?
Yeah, kind of very similar, a lot of those things as well too, because getting the call was very surreal. For me, I had actually heard of the manga before I got the audition, and that's usually kind of a little inkling that, oh, this might be a bigger deal. And at that point, I hadn't really booked any major shows. I hadn't worked on anything that was like really large. I think the biggest thing at that point was I played Sasha's mom in Attack on Titan. And I was like, okay, so that's really, really cool, which is funny because Megan plays Sasha in Attack on Titan. That was a little bit of foretelling there. And so I was not used to working on larger projects, and so I saw that, oh, Spy Family, I've heard of the manga, and also apparently this is a Shonen Jump title, and Shonen Jump tends to be bigger, so this is a big deal. So I did take that seriously enough when I got the audition where I went, oh, this could be a really big deal if I book this. So for me, it was more of like, I can see the potential for this to be the next stepping stone in my career. I did not realize it was going to be a full watershed moment, but I knew it was going to be bigger, to where it did impact the amount of time and effort I put into the audition. I read the manga. I found a copy of the first volume to read, and I'm really glad I did that too, because I originally had just thought that Spy Family was like anime Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so I assumed yours was going to be like an Angelina Jolie type, and I was very wrong about that. But I'm glad I did the research and I took the extra time to prepare and make sure I understood the character, and I think that's what helped me be able to have a better chance of getting the part.
I really love that she's like, I did so much research. I went into my closet at like 2 o'clock in the morning because I had had a very long day, and I just did it. I didn't think about it. You're like, I spent time thinking and planning, and I just I just went in and did a silly voice. And
You'd been doing it longer. You had built more of a reputation than
a reputation, good, bad.
A reputation nonetheless.
Yeah, that's right.
So we talked about some foreshadowing there, where not to typecast you both, but mother and daughter seems to be a recurring theme. Do you get to record together? Because the family dynamic that comes through on the show feels very real, and it does feel like you're both there. Do you record together, or do we have to have lots of Zoom chats and things like that?
We don't. We all record individually. Part of the reason it's so cohesive and sounds so great is because our director, his name is Chris, he is so wonderful at making sure we know what is going on around us. You know, if that way we're not missing something, or something has just happened, he lets us know, like, oh, hey, you didn't see this happen, but this thing just happened, so you're reacting to this, or this is what's going on in the middle of this big scene. Because sometimes you might not say a whole lot, but you're there, so you might not get to see the full context of a situation. So yeah, we record individually. We also get to watch the Japanese version before we record every single line, which is also nice. It kind of gives us context of like what's going on, what are the emotions happening, what is, you know, are we big, are we loud, are we funny, are we goofy, or is this just normal kind of activities? So yeah, there's a lot of different ways we make it happen, but I think the director is a big part of making sure we're all cohesive together, because he knows what it needs to sound like at the end, and he makes sure that we deliver a performance that will fit that vision. So.
Yeah, with anime specifically, and apparently it's less and less common to record as a group for just about any medium now. I think a big part of it is just getting schedules to line up is a big issue. But with anime specifically, because it is dubbing, and with traditional animation, you're typically recording, maybe there's storyboards, but there's not any animation done because they're animating to the audio that you're recording. Whereas with anime, all the animation has been completely finished. They already have everything all lined up. It's ready to go. Sometimes it's even already aired in Japan by the time we're working on it. So because of that, the way dubbing tends to work is we are matching existing pictures. So even down to the script writers have to watch, and they have a translation of what the essence of what is being said, but then the script writer actually has to go through and make sure that everything is still said in a very coherent way, but it matches all those animation details specifically. And so when we record, it's kind of like when you play Guitar Hero, for example, you're kind of playing as the notes are like coming and flying at you. It's kind of like that's like the musical version of what dubbing is we watch the Japanese to get a sense of their performance, like Megan said, but then when after we've previewed a couple of lines, we will then watch back and they'll flip over to the English audio, and sometimes you hear some characters that have already been recorded, sometimes you're the first one in there and you just gotta set the tone. There will be beeps in your ears that tell you when you're about to start talking, so you'll hear beep, 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 and then where the imaginary fourth beep would go is when you start talking. And so you have the script on one screen in front of you, and you have the video of the existing animation on the other screen. And so you're reading and watching and reading and watching, or if there's a bunch of like, running noises, and then you jump and swing a sword or something, you're watching the screen, you're going, like that, to be able to follow the animation. And thankfully the engineers are really nice and will line it up even more perfectly, but we try to get it as close as possible as we're doing that. So that's, when you have that going on, it's very hard to get more than one person in the booth at the same time, because that's so technical, trying to coordinate all those things. You really can't record more than one person at a time. So that's why anime especially, we're all working in a little vacuum booth all by ourselves. And but thankfully our directors are very, very good at what they do to make sure it sounds not that way.
Yeah, you all do such an amazing job at keeping it as one cohesive piece. It's actually really incredible to hear that as well. So, I mean, some of my favourite moments from the show is where Anya's looking up to one of her biggest heroes, and yours full of self-doubt and not quite sure about what her next move's going to be. For me, those moments just, like Arnie's pulling her on and pushing her forward, they're just amazing moments for me. What are your standout moments? Where do you get the real feels from this show yourselves?
For Anya, I love that her main, I guess, goal as a character is she just wants to be a part of a family and be accepted because, she was returned to the orphanage like 4 times. And so all she wants is to be a part of a family and be accepted, and she doesn't want to ruin anything. And so that's her main goal is, like, she's having so much fun, but she's also like, I don't want to ruin this. Like, all the shenanigans she kind of gets up to is also in part to keep everything together. And I think that's really endearing, and I think that's a very sweet thing for her to aspire to be. And we always say this, that they are such a good family, even though they don't think they are. They think they are like the worst family in the world. Like Lloyd is constantly just thinking, oh my gosh, we're really not acting like a normal family. This is the worst. This is not normal. And then it's the most normal, crazy thing ever. Like they're all running late or something, and he's like, oh no, this is the worst.
Exactly. If only he could see it from the audience.
Yeah, because everyone else in the show is like, oh wow, look at you. You're such a great family. You're so normal, and they're just like, we're not normal. Like, so it's great. I think that's one of the most endearing things about it is they make such a wonderful family unit, even though they don't think they do. So,
I love that about it, and I love that it has those, just really wonderful moments where it pauses, and you just see that usually like it kind of zooms out a little bit, and suddenly you see the picture of them as the family unit, and you're just like, they're doing so good. They're all, so bad at pretending, but because none of them have a sense of what normal is, they never know how bad at pretending they are, because they're like, I assume this is normal. I have no context for what normal is, so I assume. So it's so funny the way that all works together. There's so many really iconic, wonderful moments. Like I really love the proposal scene between Lloyd and Yor. I think that's just was really magical. That was, especially recording that scene at that. Episode 2 was the first episode I worked on, and then that was the kind of way to seal it off. And I remember getting done with that scene and just being like, oh, this is so cool. I really hope people think this is as cool as I think it is, because this is really something special. So I'm glad that seems to have been correct.
Absolutely. Yeah. Would we all agree it's a really cool show? I think so.
Absolutely. You guys actually have quite a diverse kind of range of skills, don't you? You've done a bit of audio engineering, directing and writing. So, tell us more a bit about your experiences in that field, and also, was any of those skills useful on Spy Family or any other projects you guys have worked on?
Yeah, so I have experience also doing directing. So I've done assistant directing, and I've directed my own shows where I'm the head director. I've also done music directing, so anytime you hear music that's been dubbed into English, sometimes that's me that's working on that with people, and I'm directing people and doing that. But yeah, I would say directing has been so helpful for me because I was so excited because I had this thinkling. I was like, I think I would really like directing. And so I finally, I got the nerve to ask somebody like, hey, can you teach me? Can I watch you? And they were so grateful. I'm grateful that they let me learn from them. And then I got to work with them, and I assistant directed for them for a very long time. And eventually I got my own show. And so yeah, all those skills like that I was talking about earlier, where your director they know the bigger picture. They know what the whole episode is about. They know all of the important parts of each episode and what really is the important part, where does the emotion hit, what lines are really important. And yeah, I did a lot of assistant directing, and it's funny because I did a lot of assistant directing, but I wasn't acting much at the time, which that happens a lot. Sometimes you'll be really busy doing lots of different roles, and then sometimes you're not very busy, and it just happens. And so when I got cast again in a show after directing for some time, I realized I was like, oh my gosh, I've gotten even like better, especially in terms of just like timing. Because again, it's very precise, like Natalie was saying, the animation is all finished and complete. And so I noticed that I was even more precise, which I didn't think was possible. I thought I was like, there's no way I could get better at this, but it was crazy. Because a lot of the directors too, we make sure that everything fits into all of the lip flaps before we send it off. And so, yeah, it's crazy how much directing really helped, just with timing and understanding kind of more, you know, not just thinking from like an actor point of view, but thinking, okay, well, this is probably just, this seems strange, but it's probably for the bigger picture or something like that. So,
yeah, I ended up in production actually because I thought that would be the practical thing, because whoever is going to end up actually being a full-time actor, that's ridiculous. I'm never going to do that. So I finished up my 2-year program in electronic engineering, and I was like, okay, well, I've got like the safe career option down, and I went to my parents and I went, hey, listen, I promise I'm not going to run off and try to be an actor, because again, I'm practical, I know that's not going to happen, but I would like to still have more opportunities to work in a creative field. And now that I know that, you know, if it doesn't work out, you know, I can just be an engineer and I can be a technician, and I've got that option. But I went, hey, hear me out. Can I go to art school to be an audio engineer? And my dad was like, well, studios always need engineers, and that's still technical, and that sounds very practical. I like this. So, you know, I love my father to pieces, but you know, I had to like negotiate this. And he goes, okay, well, I think we can make that work. I think we can figure that out. So I went and got my 4-year degree as an audio engineer, again, thinking that would help put me in studio spaces and just help me be able to work still within the industry, and then it would be easier for me to still pursue acting in my free time and as I was able, and they'd be probably more understanding than like the electronic engineers who are like, you need to go do what now? You know, you need, or something like that. So I got into audio engineering that way, and when I actually quit my day job, it was with the intention of being an audio engineer in Texas, because I knew there was a couple of different studios, and actually my friend ran one of them. So I came out to actually be an engineer at her studio, and I did sound design for an animated series called Epithet Erased when I first moved, and then I started training as a dialogue engineer for anime, and started recording with that, and it did really end up helping me as an anime actor, because when you are an audio engineer, one of the interesting things for anime is that you think that, oh, you record it and then everything gets all lined up later. No, when the actor records, you know, like 5 lines or something like that, and they're done, and you've hit stop, then the director and the actor sit there and look at you, and you have to immediately line up all of the audio in the session in time, and it has to happen very, very quickly.
yeah, no pressure.
Yeah. So, and it's amazing. Like some engineers, their fingers are just flying. They're like click. And I can get decently fast. I'm a little out of practice because I obviously haven't been doing nearly as much audio
Well, that's how we
engineering.
met too. Is she was the engineer on a project I was acting for, so that's how like I initially like I knew of you.
Yeah.
But then that's how we like met.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, because you were song directing for the very first time,
Yes.
and then I was the lead engineer on Adachi Shimamura,
Yes.
where you were Adachi.
I love.
So that was really fun, and that was where I learned, oh, Megan's so good at this. She makes my job so easy because everything always fits. And
You all give me a really big head.
I mean, as an engineer, Megan's like the best kind of actor to work with, which is great.
See, they always say it. I'm like, stop, please.
Yeah, it's good.
Give me an ego.
The universe pushing you two together, isn't it?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
really is.
But
Fate finds a way.
yeah, but learning how to engineer then made me know, oh, okay, if this movement happens, I know what the engineer's going to want to put there and how to move. And it really did help me too, because I also understood like, oh, if I make a mistake, I know exactly how to correct it in a way that it's very easy for the engineer to fix too. So little things like that happened, and I got much better at timing and understanding what they needed from me and how to. But also the other cool thing was, as I'm engineering, I basically got a front row seat to watch actors work in the studio, you know, for my day job. So I basically got a master class in watching actors in their natural environment, and I got to see who was really good, why they were good, what really made the director's job easier, and also what not to do, and what made everything worse.
That's an important one, what not to do.
Yeah, so...
What would you say those things are?
Oh.
I mean, don't be obnoxious.
Yeah.
No, but it's common sense, really. A lot of people go, what do I not do? And it's kind of just common sense. Like, you go in and everyone there is a person. Like, I was a huge fan going into working this job, and I had to like tell myself in my head, I was like, Megan, we're not here to talk to people about their resumes. We're not here to talk to people about, this isn't the place for it. So it was more of, I just approached it as like, let's just act like we don't know these people.
Yeah.
Like we haven't listened to them for the last
You have to turn that part of your
10
brain
years
off.
of your life.
At least until you know them well,
Yeah.
and then you can make fun of them for it.
Yeah, I have a great story. The second day, on like day 2, I get cast as a character in the show, and Jerry Jewell, who, if you've watched Fruits Basket, he plays Kyo in Fruits Basket, so everyone knows Kyo. Kyo's like, oh, I love Kyo. Kyo's so handsome, and he's the cat boy, and I love him. And day 2, I'm working on this show with Jerry, and I turned my brain off, but it was driving me crazy, because Jerry has a voice where you're just like, I know this voice, like where have I heard it from? And so I'm sitting there, it's the end of our session, we've gotten through everything, and I'm trying to make small talk. He's filling out my paper that I have to sign, and I go, oh, and I guess I looked it up. That's what it was. I looked it up, and I went, oh, you know, I told him, I was like, it was driving me crazy, your voice from yesterday. And I was like, I realized, oh, you're in Fruits Basket. And he goes, yeah. And Jerry's a very dry humor, very dry individual. And he goes, yeah. And I said, oh yeah, I watched that like in middle school. It's great. And he goes, yeah, cool. I have a kid in middle school. And I went, oh my God, I called him, and I'm freaking out because again, it's like day 2, and I'm like, I just called him old. I'm fired. I'm never coming back to this building ever again. Yeah, I did it in a polite way, and I was like, oh, hee. I was mortified.
I did the same thing with Mike when we were working on My Hero, where we were waiting for some stuff to get posted, and he mentioned something, and I don't remember how it came up. I was telling him, I was like, oh, I'm really a big fan of the original Full Metal Alchemist. I was like, I genuinely, like, I get a lot of flack for this. I say I actually really like the original better than Brotherhood. But I'm like, I think they're both really good. And he went, oh, well, I think the second one, we were able to do a lot of the things better. And I'm like, Mike, no, I think it's good. I just like how weird the original was.
It was pretty weird.
You can't win.
No, not at all. And then you go home and you go, oh, this director's never going to hire me again.
And you're like, oh, I've ruined it. I've ruined every chance I had.
There's that famous story with The Office. I think the guy who went for Jim. He was talking to a guy who was casting, and he was like, so what do you think? And he was like, I just think I hope they don't mess this up, because the UK one's great. He's like, hi, I'm the director and casting director. And he was like, well, that's my career over.
All right, well, I'm gonna see myself out.
All right, we're gonna throw it this way to the lovely people in the audience. We're gonna have a little Q&A session. So I'm gonna come on down, and you guys are free to ask any question you would like. So let's do that. Let's get involved.
Yes, I think you've got a few hands popping up in the air now as well.
I woke up this morning. I'll just tell this story while we wait. I was dying of thirst this morning, and I realized, we don't believe in water bottles here. I forgot. No, we don't. So I came downstairs from the hotel, and I was dying of thirst. But it's fine. I'm alive. I'm fine. But it was rough. No, I'm great.
Thank the Lord. Okay, we go on.
Do you have any voice actors you'd like to work with, and also what are your favourite dinosaurs?
I love this question. This is my favorite question. Listen, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was 6 years old.
You had so many goals as a child.
I did. I was a very ambitious child.
You were.
I love the Triceratops. Thank you for asking. It's phenomenal. And actors I would like to work with. Ooh.
Me. No, I'm just kidding.
You say like we've never worked together.
I know.
Ever. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of really wonderful people. I would love. Okay, so this is just in my brain because I've seen him a bunch at cons recently. I would love to work with Neil Newbern. I mean, obviously, you've probably all seen his phenomenal work in Baldur's Gate recently. He just seems like such a lovely human being. He is a lovely human being. I got drinks with him one time. Kellen embarrassed us because he asked us how we knew each other, and Kellen goes, "Have you ever heard of this website, this voice acting website? We all met online. Do you know that this is a thing?" And we were all like, "Kellen, don't."
You can't talk about that, Kellen.
Yeah, Kellen plays
It's embarrassing.
Freddy in Five Nights at Freddy's. He's a big nerd. Love him. So yeah, Neil seems insanely talented, and I would love to be an engineer for him. So.
My favorite dinosaur is, we'll just say, just because it came to mind, and I like a lot of dinosaurs, but Stegosaurus. We'll go with Stegosaurus, solid. Actor I want to work with, well, she's here, and she's so hilarious, and I don't know if we've actually gotten to be in a show together. I've gotten to direct her, and that's Miss Jamie Markey. And I always tell people that I want to be Jamie Markey when I grow up, because I love her. She's so great. She's such a wonderful human being. So, yeah, I'd like to work with her more.
Yeah, she was amazing.
She's great.
If you were going to voice act a different character in a different anime, who would you be?
Ooh, in any anime? Ooh, I don't know. You know what? I would love to be, because I was Sasha in Attack on Titan, but I would have loved to have been, I mean, it would be hard because I also don't have the voice, but if rules didn't exist, I would love to be Armin. Because Armin is one of my favorite characters in Attack on Titan, and I love Armin. So yeah, if I had the voice for it, I'd do it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I am thinking, so there's one of my favorite shows is called Made in Abyss, and there's some new characters coming up. There's a new cave raider that I would really love to play in Made in Abyss, but honestly, I would just love to be in the show, so I would say that would be my answer.
She does love the show. At one convention, what was it? The music, the guy who made all the music,
Yes.
the composer. He the words.
The music guy.
The music man who made the music. He was at the con, and she was freaking out. She saw him as we were leaving, and she went, "Oh my gosh, Megan, there he is!" And I was like, "Calm down. She didn't want to go say hi, and I was like, "Do you need? I don't know this man. I don't care. Do you want me to go say hi?" So I said, "Get over here." She said, "No." I said, "Come on." And so I went over and said, "Hi, this is my friend Natalie. She loves your work."
And I was so sad because I forgot my CD inserts that I wanted to get signed, and I've been kicking myself.
So yeah, she does love that show. So
I feel like
yeah.
there was a mother-daughter reversal role.
Oh yeah.
No.
I was like, "Come on, get over here."
Hello. So both of you worked on Gundam Witch from Mercury, and I just wanted to ask, how does it feel being part of a project that especially like such a long-running and famous series, still could mean so much for LGBT people, for like the relationship depicted between Sleta and Yuri. And as a follow-up, how did it make you feel when Sunrise said it was quote-unquote up for interpretation?
I just came back on that one.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I'm in the show, but my character just gets really mad and likes to stab people with a pencil. So that's all. She's just just mad all the time. But yeah, no, it is a really good show though. And I'm just really lucky. I feel like I got to work on a handful of Gundam projects kind of all in a row at the same time, which was so odd. But yeah, I love Gundam, and so getting to be a part of Gundam and the Gundam universe is so fun because they are these iconic shows. And yeah, Witch from Mercury just like was super amazing and kind of went into uncharted waters, and it was really great.
Yeah. I love giant robot shows so much. I'm woefully not nearly as far into Gundam as I should be, but I was really excited when I saw Witch from Mercury was coming out because it looked like it was totally going to be my thing. But I remember very specifically being like, I'm not going to watch this because I know I'm going to get attached and then I'm going to be sad when I don't get to work on it. And then I remember the audition came through like a season later because for some reason, we didn't dub it the first season as it was airing. And then the audition came through, and I had just assumed I wasn't gonna, we were never gonna get it. And then I went, oh my gosh, here it is. I really want to do a really good job on this one. And I remember almost not auditioning for Miorine because I was like, I don't know, does my voice print fit this character? I was like, I love her. She seems phenomenal. I love these types of characters, but I don't know if anyone's gonna buy it. So I thought if I had a chance at anyone, I was really hoping for either Suletta's mom or Nika. And I was like hoping cause I love that Nika, I was like, oh, she's an engineer. I'm an engineer. That sounds really cool. And then I remember I got the email that I booked Miorine while I was at a con like
yeah,
this.
we were right next to each other. And she came over to me and she was like, I got the part, I got the part. And I was like, I'm so happy for you.
I just stood in Artist Alley and hyperventilated for about 20 minutes. It was great.
Because it's one of those things where you can't tell anyone.
No.
And you could tell me because I knew the auditions had gone out. So like I knew. But
I couldn't say anything to anyone else. And I was just like, this is so cool. And it just ended up being so special. Like I was just so happy. Like even the fact that I just got to pilot the Gundam for like 2 seconds, it was great. And
isn't that the dream?
Yeah, and then I wrote a couple episodes towards the end. I was a substitute script adapter, and so the episode 22 scene, I wrote that actually the night before my wife and I eloped, so that was really special.
You did elope, that was so fun.
We did. So that has an extra little special meaning to me now. I wish I wasn't so busy that I was working the night before, but if I was gonna be doing it, that's the one to do it. So very special, always will mean so much to me. I love that show so dearly.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for coming over. It means so much to us all.
I mean, thanks for letting me come and have a nice vacation. Yeah, I love it.
My question is, what are your favorite lines you did in Spy Family? And can you say them in the voices of Anna?
Yeah. I'll let you go first. We get this question a lot, so we're giving each other knowing looks because we know what we're both going to say.
I love yours very iconic "I'm about to kill you" line, where she goes, "May I have the honor of taking your life this evening?"
Yeah, and I don't. This is a very loud microphone, so I'm very scared. Yeah, this is very loud. You're gonna hear it, I promise.
Look, I can see her boobies!
That's my favorite. Because I mean, it's funny.
You get all the easy one-liners.
I get all the fun one-liners. I do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very different lines then.
I know, right? It's very different.
Hey guys. Obviously the Spy Family movie was the ultimate family outing.
Yes.
And I'm curious what your favorite or weirdest moments of recording that were like.
Well, I'm trying to think for me. I mean, I had to have the director show me the whole poop god thing. Yeah, I had to watch that whole thing because once we got there, I was like, what is this? What is happening? And so we just watched the whole thing and I was in awe. And then I had to not laugh. And then I had to do it. And I think my favorite part of that whole sequence was like, not only was it like, oh, there's the poop god, but I can't believe these words are gonna come out of my mouth. You know when she farts up the waterfall? I know. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. My favorite noises was she makes little sounds every time she toots up the waterfall. So those were the funniest things to record. It was really great. And the water, and there was like water too, so I had to be like, it was great. Oh yeah, and then my dad was there at the premiere that we went to. My favorite thing was the morning after the premiere though, was he looked at Alex, who voices Twilight, and he goes, it's like 10 in the morning. We're all about to go to the airport to get on planes to go home. And my dad looks at Alex and goes, man, Alex, I just couldn't believe that was you as Twilight. And if you ever meet Alex or you watch an interview with Alex, Alex's voice is just how Twilight sounds, his normal voice. So the fact that my dad said, Alex, I couldn't believe that was you. Can you do the voice? I was like, Dad, it's 10 in the morning. We're all trying to go home. So my dad did that. And Alex, I was like, it's just his voice, Dad. And Alex was so nice, and he did it for my dad. And I was like, Dad, please. He's so embarrassing.
It's a dad's job to be
It is. So yeah, but it was great.
Yeah, for me, for the movie, I went to, we started recording, and then I went to a con, and then I got laryngitis at the con, and then it got real fun trying to finish the last, third of the movie, when pretty much all of my upper range, which is where Yor tends to live, especially as she gets more anxious and her voice floats up, I could not access any of that part of my range.
And you did so well.
I'm glad. There was a lot.
I couldn't tell.
There was a lot of. That was really insane because I was like, oh, and Chris was giving me a lot of flack. He's like, Natalie, this is going to be in theaters. Only everyone's going to go see this in theaters.
So he's not helping your anxiety.
No. He was, if anything, he made it even worse. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm rooting this for you. And then he was like, oh my God, no.
You should make him feel bad. You should.
And then at the premiere, he's like, it was good. You could tell it was good. You did great. And I was like, Chris, I know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But yeah, so.
Hello there. Can
I'm that guy!
Can we have you
I'm
off the
that
stage,
guy!
please, sir?
Edward!
Can we have you off the stage, please? Thank you.
Yo! You made it!
Come on, you made it, but you're ruining it for everybody else. Thank you very much. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh no, you're good.
Sorry about that. But he made it, and we have time for one more question.
Right. Yeah. I don't know where they went.
Take us home.
I think Martin's gone off with the microphone.
It's like, where's Waldo? Trying to find where the microphone is landed.
I think Miles is
That's all right.
with the jet now.
It's fine.
Let's see.
Do we have one here down at the front?
You got it.
Do you have a question? I'm going to bring the mic out to you. This is as far as I can come.
Oh yes.
Natalie, I was going to ask, how did you come up with the voice for Stars and Stripes for My Hero Academia?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, good question.
Miss America over here.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it is me trying to be as close to Chris Sabat as I can get.
You're the woman Chris Sabat.
I saw her design, and I was like, she's obviously based her whole look and her identity as a hero after All Might. So I figured a lot of that was going to come through in how she presented herself. And I actually, when the audition came through though, there was not any official anime art of her. And so I was really trying to go off of what was in the manga, and I started reading with the voice I kind of ended up using, and I went, I don't know, this might be a little too big.
No.
And then, so I kind of pulled it back a little bit for the audition. And then the episode came out, and it's Roni Park, who's a legendary Seiyu, and she's so deep and commanding and sounds so cool. And I went, no, I went the wrong way. And I was feeling very sorry for myself the whole weekend. And then Monday came, and I got an email from Colleen, the director, and she goes, hey, I love what you did for the character. I just want to know, can you go deeper? Because the Sei was going a lot deeper, and we want to just match that performance a little bit now. I dropped everything. I like crawled into the booth, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do what I was like, I should have gone with my gut the first time. So I did that, and then I was going to be out of town too. So I sent the email and the audition back right away, and I was like, hey, really want to do this. Let me know. Here's kind of what my plans are to be out of town, but let me know. I will fly back and then back again, like if I have to. I was like, I will do anything for this part. And they were like, oh, no worries, absolutely. We like it. You got the part. Can you come in right before your flight? So I literally went in, recorded, ran home, got my bags, and then went straight to the airport. So thankfully it all worked out. So thank you, great question.
Great question, thank you for that. And just like the show itself, who knows what's going to happen in one of these battles?
Further surprises. We do apologise for that, everyone.
Yes, we do apologise for the interruption. AnimeCon UK, Spy X Family, please make some noise for Natalie Van Sistine and Shipman!
I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat, Kira Stanada. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。